Use problem solving, strategies, and models. I think Zach was studying the wrong stuff for the quiz.
He was just over-studying for the quiz.
Gotcha.
He does that.
I was just like, wait, what he just asked me is what we're about to do right now.
No, he knows what he's supposed to study. He just thinks that you're out to get him, and he's done this since, like, elementary school.
Okay, good to know. I was like, D equals RT is literally what we're about to do, and that's what he just asked me. Okay. Use the formula D equals RT for distance traveled to solve the for the missing variable. So they give us D equals 300 miles, R equals question mark, and T equals 4 hours. So we have D equals RT. So you can either at this point plug in the information that we have, or you can solve for R first and then plug in. So I don't really care. I'm going to solve for R first. So R equals D over T, which is 300 miles in 4 hours. So what is that? 75 miles per hour. You can write it as MPH or like miles over hours. I don't care. Easy enough on that. Okay. Same thing, but a different formula. Number 10 says to use the formula P equals 2L plus 2W for the perimeter of a rectangle to solve for the missing variable. So we have that the perimeter is 25 centimeters. The width is 5 centimeters, and L is question mark. So they told us the formula P equals 2L plus 2W. So I'm solving for L, so I'm going to get L by itself. How do I get L by itself?
Subtract 2W from both sides.
Yep, so P minus 2W equals 2L. And then divide by 2, so L equals P minus 2W over 2. Now, if you don't do it this way, you won't get points off, okay? It's not like on the stuff that we just did in 1.4 where, like, if you didn't solve for the variable first, then it's wrong. So I just like to do it this way because when you get a really chaotic formula, it makes it easier to deal with. So 25 minus 2 times 5 over 2. So that gives me 15 over 2, or 7.5 centimeters.
Would you like us to leave it as 15 over 2 on its test, or put 7.5?
Either way. Just make sure you put units on it if whatever way you leave it. So with these, you do need to know these formulas, but D equals RT, obviously that's pretty simple. You should already know a perimeter formula because I may or may not actually give it to you on there. I try my best to, like, when I put questions on a quiz or a test, to give you the exact instructions that were in the book, unless I've, like, modified the instructions, which I would have told you in class. I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm going to give you this, like, random thing that you have no idea what the formula is. Like, it's going to either be one that you've had in here or something that I've, like, given you already.
Zach thinks that's exactly what you're going to do.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he asked me about the trapezoid formula earlier, so
I don't remember that one.
if you have to do something with it, I'm going to give it to you because that is not one that I just know off the top of my head, and I don't really think it's fair unless I tell you that you need to know it. So, granted, y'all just did geometry last year. I did geometry like 14 years ago, so
Yeah, but we don't remember
It's
much.
been a
We
little
had
bit.
the nice little postulate books that had all the formulas in
Mhm.
there for us.
you can thank me for that.
Thank you.
When my mom taught before, she never let kids have that. They had to memorize everything. And I was like, yeah, I had a postulate book and it was really helpful. And she was like, okay.
I would not have done very well in geometry without that book.
It's helpful. And I mean, I feel like you kind of need it to be able to, if you don't have it, you can't necessarily show that you actually know how to do something.
Right.
Because you may know how to do something and just forget what the name of the thing is, so.
Yeah.
Our rule was always, like, if you didn't do it and turn it in on time, you just couldn't use it, so.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I'm like, just an incentive to do it, so. Okay. We okay with these ones where we're, like, solving for a variable, plugging stuff in? Good, right? Pretty chill. Okay. On to the tables. So these say to use patterns, and find, like, whatever the pattern is in the table, and then write the equation that is represented by the table. So we have an XY table. X is from 0 to 3. And then Y is in order left to right: 60, 45, 30, and 15. So when I do this, I'm looking at what is happening to get me from here to here, from here to here, from here to here.
Subtracting 15.
Yep, we're subtracting 15 every time. Okay.
So, would there ever be a time where you had to like change it? So instead of going from 30 to 15, it'd be like 30 to 20, or does it stay constant throughout the entire table?
For the sake of these, it should be constant to the entire table. Because if it's changing, it's a completely different kind of problem.
Okay.
That'll be like later in the year. So, when we have this, we say that Y equals whatever our starting value is, meaning where X is 0, we put that number down first. So that's going to be 60. And then whatever our factor is of how we get from one to the next is the number that we write. So minus 15 times X. Because now, if I ignored the bottom of this table and I plug in the number 3 over here, 60 minus 15 times 3, well, 15 times 3 is 45, so 60 minus 45 is 15, and that's what I got. So that's how you can check to make sure your equation makes sense. It's just by plugging in one of the numbers.
Yeah, I've never like used tables before. I feel like one time in 8th grade we did, but I never like used tables before. I have stuff.
This is more leading you potentially to word problems type stuff. I don't know. We really don't use it past this section. A lot of stuff in chapter 1 is like,
Basic.
yeah, get the knowledge, move on to the actual new stuff kind of thing. Let's do one more table one because there's not really a lot of table ones in the examples. So another XY table. 0 to 3 again on top. And then Y going in order: 57, 107, 157, and 207. So how do I get from like here to here? Add 50. And I do usually make sure that all the way across that's actually what's happening, just in case there's something weird, but there shouldn't be any like that in here that are not doing something consistent. More just like if there was a typo on my part on the test. So, any ideas on how I would write this one?
Ooh.
Just yell it out.
Oh.
Y equals 57 plus 50x.
Yep. So the number, when x is 0, it's like your constant number, and then plus whatever our factor is that we're changing by every time times x. Any questions on the tables? Cool. Let's see. Okay, the next one is they give us a diagram, which this one is going to truly lead us to a word problem in a minute, but they start out by actually giving you a picture. In word problems, they're going to explain something to you, and you're going to have to draw the picture yourself. So, and typically I'm going to tell you it's going to be a wall with something on it. So that's what this is going to kind of look like. You're going to see my awful drawing skills, but that's okay. Okay, so we have this like wall, and there's, I'm just going to say 3 posters on it. That clearly don't look the same, but that's okay. There. Okay, disregard the fact that they're all different heights. That's irrelevant. And they tell us in the diagram that each of these is 2 feet wide. And the space between the edge of the wall, if you will, and between each poster is x. And they want us to write and solve an equation to find x. Oh, I guess I should also tell you the entire wall is 15 feet. So just for a visual, this is the x area here. Now, super crazy, we're going to go left to right, adding x plus 2 until we get to the end and set it equal to 15. So we're going to have x plus 2 plus x plus 2 plus x plus 2 plus x equals 15. Now what? Combine like terms. 4x plus 6 equals 15. And now we solve. So this is like our equation that they want us to set up first. And then, not the eraser. That's not what I want. 4x equals 9. So x equals 9 over 4. Which, if you want it as a decimal, 2.25 feet. And make sure, if it gives you something with units on it, make sure you always have your units for it to be fully correct. I'm just curious, does anyone in here like NASCAR?
NASCAR?
I don't know too much about it, but
Like
it's cool that
car
it's-
racing?
Yeah.
I like when they hit each other, but that's about it.
All right. Well, in high school, I didn't like NASCAR either, but now I do, so we're doing a NASCAR problem.
That's what I really wanted to do.
But I more just needed to know if I needed to explain something about NASCAR, which I clearly will. So, number 24 is a word problem. It says, a recent Daytona 500 was won by Dale Earnhardt Jr. Now, obviously...
That's not recent.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say. Obviously not recent, okay? But anyways, he completed the 500-mile race in 3.2 hours. What was his average racing speed? So just a little something they kind of ended up telling you in there. But if there's a race that says like the Daytona 500, the 500 means that's how many miles that it is. So they do like a Coca-Cola 600 at Memorial Day, that's 600 miles, which is their longest race. So if it wasn't specified, that's going to be your number of miles, just so you know. Anyways, But they tell us that he completed the 500-mile race, so that's the distance. In 3.2 hours, so the time is 3.2 hours. And we want to know basically the speed that he traveled, so the rate, which is going to be in what units? Miles per hour. So we use that formula we had earlier, the D equals RT. So R equals D over T, which is 500 divided by 3.2. Somebody with a calculator, tell me what that's equal to. Or multiply it out by hand and divide.
This is a lot of work.
It does. That's why I said grab a calculator.
156.25.
56.25 miles per hour. Well, they really go a lot faster than that. They go almost, at Daytona, they go almost 200 miles per hour. But this is accounting for all their little pit stops, cautions, and whatever they're saying from the time that the green flag comes out till the checkered flag at the end. That's how long it took. So, by me telling you I really like NASCAR, you should expect on a quiz or a test you're going to see a NASCAR question. Just telling you.
I know you like math, so I expect to see a math question on the test too.
But it won't be this exact question. I'm going to pull from a more recent race, so.
Lightning McQueen?
Huh?
Lightning McQueen?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm sure we'll notice the difference.
Okay. I want you guys to try this one on your own. Scuba diving. A scuba diver is returning to the surface from a depth of 165 feet, so that's your distance. Oh, this is number 26. And the safe ascent rate for a diver is 30 feet per minute. So the rate is 30 feet per minute. And it wants to know how many minutes will it take for the diver to return to the surface. So take a minute and work that one.
Oh, it's 30 feet per minute.
Yeah, I put 3.
Yeah, me too.
Just move the decimal place.
That would be really slow.
55
It would take you forever.
Yeah, I got almost an hour from my original answer.
All right, what do we get?
5.5
5.5 minutes.
Good.
What?
Five and a half minutes. All right, I'm going to do a word problem for you that involves like the drawing like we did with this one, except for I'm going to leave the poster one for y'all because the poster one looks more like this. So I'm doing an odd one and you're going to do an even one in the homework because I would, anyways, rather you do that one because I need to show you how to do this one. So 29 is a wood shop problem. It says you have a piece of wood that is 72 inches long. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my log or wood, whatever it is. I don't know. And I'm told that it's 72 feet long, not 72 feet, inches. That would be really long. 72 inches. You cut the wood into 3 pieces. The second piece is 6 inches longer than the first piece. And the third piece is 6 inches longer than the second piece. Draw a diagram, then write and solve an equation to find the lengths of the 3 pieces.
You said the third piece was 6 inches more than the second, or 3?
6.
Okay.
So, what's the length of the first piece?
X.
X. So I'm going to put an X here. The second piece is 6 inches longer than the first piece. So what would I do for the second piece?
X plus 6.
X plus 6. And the third piece is 6 inches longer than the second.
So X plus 6 parentheses plus 6.
Or
X plus 12.
X plus 12.
Yeah.
So now I need to write an equation for the total length of the board, okay? And then when I solve for X, then I have to tell how long each of the 3 pieces are to be completely done with this problem. This one isn't just a solve for X problem. So we do X plus 6 plus X plus 12 equals 72. So I get 3x plus 18 equals, you done? Nice.
Sure.
72.
Where do
You can
roll
just
this
lay
out?
it there. I wondered that when I saw him put one in his mouth.
That was
Did you
really
bring me one?
I think it helped me do that quiz.
You're supposed to share with the class then.
He has answers.
There might be one in the cow.
Zach, that's mine.
That is the most random statement.
Yeah.
It's a candy cow. I can't guarantee that pre-cow didn't eat everything in the candy cow, but
Lollipop. Zach.
Zach.
What are you doing?
Zach.
Zach being a monkey monkey. Ron, grab me one.
I'm good.
It was in the cow.
so 3x equals 54, so x equals 18. So the first piece is 18 inches because the first piece is just x. The second piece is 6 plus 18, which is 24 inches. And then the third piece is 12 plus 18, which is going to be 30 inches. So that is actually your final answer right there.
That's not a perfect circle.
I didn't try to make it a perfect circle.
Ooh.
Do I need to? Do you want me to make it a perfect circle?
Yeah,
No.
I feel a lot better about myself.
This one's gonna.
Whoa.
Oval.
Is there a difference between
Okay.
an oval
Any
and-
questions about any of that? Yes.
Is there a difference between an oval and an ellipse?
What?
Isn't an ellipse like an oval but a good word for it?
Basically, yes.
But it tastes like lemonade.
It tastes like bananas.
I taste like that.
Okay.
It's like lemonade.
Your problems.
I got the lemon one.
3, 7, 11, 13, 17, 25, and 30. And if y'all remind me tomorrow, I can give you the answer to 30.
What's the answer to 30?
Tomorrow. I forgot to